Today we'll be discussing about an important topic called cache memory. As we all know, processor fetches data and instruction from the main memory for processing. However, there is a small first memory which is placed between the processor and main memory to make the processor feel that the accessing speed of the main memory has increased. The processor is much faster than the main memory. As a result, the processor has to spend much of its time waiting while instructions and data are being fetched from the main memory, because the data and instructions are present in the main memory itself. As the main memory is slower, the processor has to wait. Major obstacle towards achieving good performance. So speed of the main memory cannot be increased beyond a certain point. Even if we go on increasing the hardware, but there is a limitation on the same. Cache memory is an architectural arrangement which makes the main memory appear faster to the processor than it really is. So what we'll do over here, we'll introduce a small memory over here which is called the cache memory, which is much faster as compared to the main memory, so that the processor will feel that the accessing speed of the main memory is increased. So how it can be done? This says the cache memory is based on the property of the computer program known as locality of reference. So what is that locality of references? The analysis of the program indicates that many instructions in the localized area of a program are executed repeatedly during some period of time, while the others are accessed relatively less frequently. So it says that in a program, a part of the program usually executed repeatedly, and some of the instructions are executed less frequently. For example, if you have a loop in a program, the instructions in a loop are executed frequently. A function call may be called for multiple number of times. So this is called the locality of reference. The objective is that those instructions which are required frequently will put those in the cache memory, so that processor can get it. Processor will get those information from the cache memory itself. There are two types of locality of reference. One is called temporal locality of reference, and another is called spatial locality of reference. The temporal locality of reference says the recently executed instruction is likely to be executed again very soon. So it says if an instruction I is executing now, there is a chance that the same instruction I will be required in the near future. So we'll bring it into the cache memory. The spatial locality of reference says instructions with addresses close to a recently executed instruction are also likely to be executed soon. So if the instruction I is executing now, the I may be executed in the near future. This is temporal locality of reference. But the spatial locality of reference says not only instruction I, the instruction I plus 1, I plus 2, I plus 3, some more other instructions which are in the close proximity to the currently executed instruction are also likely to be executed soon. That is called the spatial locality of reference. Just look into the diagram. We have processor and main memory. So what is our objective? Objective is to put some of the frequently accessed instructions in the cache itself, so that processor will fetch those instructions from the cache. How to know that which are frequently accessed instruction? It is based on the locality of reference. So if I have a program over here, I'm executing instruction 1. Instruction 1 must be brought to the cache because of temporal locality of reference. It is not only instruction 1, I will also bring instruction 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Why those instructions will be brought? Assuming the, considering the spatial locality of reference. So instruction 1, first time it will not be found, so it will be brought. When it is searching for instruction 2, it will be found. 3, it will be found in the cache. 4, it will be found in the cache. 5, it will be found in the cache. If 6 it is not there, it will be go to the main memory and fetch it. So it will not fetch 6, it will also fetch 7, 8, 9, 10. So that processor will get instruction 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the cache itself. Hence it reduces the access time and enhances the performance. So processor issue a read request. A block of words is transferred from the main memory to the cache, one word at a time. So a block may consist of a number of words. The entire block will be transferred over here, but one word at a time. Subsequent reference to the data in this block of words are found in the cache, because as we have transferred an entire block, so even if one word we have accessed, entire block is being transferred to the cache, so subsequent words can be accessed from the cache itself. At any given time, only some blocks in the main memory are held in the cache. Which blocks in the main memory are in the cache is determined by the mapping function. So we cannot keep all the blocks of the main memory inside the cache, because cache memory is very small as compared to the main memory. Therefore, a small number of blocks from the main memory can be kept in the cache. When the cache is full, a block of words need to be transferred from the main memory. Some blocks of words in the cache must be replaced. This is determined by a replacement algorithm. So as cache is very small, so time to time it will definitely get full. When the cache becomes full and a new block is requested, then one of the block from the cache has to be replaced to the main memory. Which block will be replaced? That will be decided by a set of algorithms. Those algorithms are called replacement algorithms. The existence of a cache is transparent to the processor. The processor issues read and write request in the same manner. So processor issues read or write request by providing the address considering the main memory only. So if the data that is with the if the address that is generated by the processor for read and write operation is found in the cache, then we say it is a read hit, or we say it is a hit. If it is for reading purpose, we say read hit. If it is for writing purpose, we say write hit. For example, if I want to read a data item and it is found in the cache, we say it is a read hit. If you want to read a data item and it is not found in the cache, we say it is a read miss. If you want to modify the value a equals to 5, we want to modify into a equals to 10. If you want to modify the value of a and it is found in the cache, we say it is a write hit. If it is not found, we say it is write miss. So if it is a read hit, data is obtained from the cache and we read it. But if it is a write hit, what will happen? Now we have cache memory and main memory. Write hit means we want to change the value and it is found in the cache. For example, a is a variable which is present in the cache, we want to modify into 10. So the a is not only present in the cache, a is also there in the main memory. If you modify only in the cache, it will not be modified in the main memory itself. So how to do this? We want the value to be same across different labels. So what to do? So cache in the write hit, what you do? There are two protocols used. One is called the write through protocol, another is called the write back protocol or copy back protocol. So cache has a replica of the content of the main memory. Whatever is there in the main memory, a copy of that is being brought to the cache memory only. So in write through protocol, what it does, the content of the cache and the main memory may be updated simultaneously. That means when you will update the cache, at the same time we'll also update the main memory. So what is the advantages? Advantages is that no inconsistency of data because the data is modified in both the locations. But the problem is that for every write operation, we have two potential write operations. The second protocol or the alternative protocol is the write back or copy back protocol. Here, update the content of the cache and mark it as updated by setting a bit known as DATI or modified bit. So what we'll do over here, will only modify in the cache, will not modify in the main memory. Once it is modified, we'll mark the block. How will you mark a block? So a bit is being associated with each block of the cache. So initially it is 0. If any word is being modified, that block is being marked as 1. So that bit is known as dirty bit or modified bit. So the content of the main memory are updated when this block is replaced. So as I told, when the main memory is when the cache memory is full and a new block is referenced, one of the block of the cache memory will be transferred to the main memory. If that block is selected where modified bit is set to 1, then the entire block will be returned to the main memory. What is the advantages over here? We do not have to modify all the time for every write operation. However, there is a drawback is that we have an extra bit is required for every block of the cache. So this protocol is known as write back or copy back protocol. If the data is not present in the cache, then a read miss or write miss occurs. What is miss? If the data is not found in the cache. So if we want to read a data item and it's not found, we say it's a read miss. We want to write a data item and it's not found, we say it's a write miss. If a read miss occurs, what is the protocol that is being used? If a read miss occurs, that means we want to read a data item. For example, print a %DA. We want to read the value of A, and A is not found in the cache. So what we'll do over here, the block of words containing this requested word is transferred from the memory. So from the memory, as it is not found in the cache, it will be brought from the main memory. So only that word is not being brought, entire block of words will be brought. After the block is transferred, the desired word is forwarded to the processor. So entire block is transferred from memory to cache, and from the cache, the desired word only forwarded to the processor. This is one. Alternatively, that what we can do, the desired word may also be forwarded to the processor as soon as it is transferred without waiting for the entire block to be transferred. One more thing it may happen, that instead of transferring the block to the cache and then the requested word to the processor, the desired word may directly be transferred from the memory to the processor. This is called load through or early restart. But this is the cost is associated with this because the extra circuit is being required over here. So what is the protocol now being used in a write miss? In a write means we want to modify a data item A equals to 10, we want to write, A is not found in the cache. So what to do? If the write through protocol is used, then the content of the main memory are updated directly. So what it does, it directly goes to the main memory, update the main memory content itself. So here the cache memory may not be cache because the data is not present in the cache. We will not update the cache memory itself. We will directly go to the main memory and update over there. If the write back protocol is used, the block containing the addressed word is first brought into the cache. So we'll bring that block into the cache. Then the desired word is overwritten with new information. So what we have done, if it is a write back, the block containing the addressed word is brought from the main memory to the cache, and we modify the information in the cache itself. And there is a bit called valid bit. This valid bit is different from that modified bit. If the block contains a valid data, then bit is set to 1. That means valid bit ensures whether the block contains valid data or not. Where the modified bit says, in the earlier case, the modified bit signifies that whether the data in that block, any of the word in that block is being modified or not. But here valid bit says whether the block contains valid data or not. this valid bit is either set to 1 or 0. Initially, the valid bits are set to 0. When the power is just on, the valid bit is 0. This valid bit is also associated with each block of the cache. When a block is loaded into the cache for the first time, the valid bit is set to 1. So initially it is all 0. Whenever a block is transferred from the main memory to cache, the valid bit of that block is set to 1. Data transfers between main memory and disk occurs directly bypassing the cache. Sometimes actually the processor accesses the main memory. There is an entity called DMA, direct memory access, which can directly access the main memory itself. When the data on the disk changes, the main memory block is also updated at that time. However, if the data is also resident in the cache, then the valid bit is set to 0. So what it says, if an external entity like DMA wants to access the main memory, so what it will check? It will check whether that data is present in the cache or not. If it is there in the cache, then it will reset it to 0. As it was there in the cache, the bit was set to 1. Now it is reading from the main memory, so it will invalidate the cache by setting it to 0. What happens if the data in the disk and the main memory changes and the write back protocol is being used? So in this case, data in the cache may also have changed and is indicated by the data bit. So if it is changed over here, the data bit indicates the same. The copies of the data in the cache and the main memory are different. This is called cache coherence problem. What is the necessity? The necessity is that if the data is present in multiple levels of memory, like cache and main memory, the same data is present, then it has to be coherent, has to be same. If it is not same, then we say it's a cache coherence problem. One option is to force a write back before main memory is updated from the disk. So what we will do over here, before accessing, we will have a force write over here. We have to write it anyway. So next we will go for the mapping functions.